I mean.
Right. They could have told me that ahead. Exactly.
This weekend. And Saturday they were going to the game, and then yesterday.
On the wall there.
But it was inside the fence, but we're all the way in like by the fence.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he got all the way around and just running. That was exciting.
Did you guys go back for each day?
We stayed out.
Say 8 a.m. and
Yeah. That Saturday, well, Saturday, I played at 2 time and then the other game, I ended up getting rain legs and all.
I was young.
The football. Everything and then.
So.
I don't like it, but it goes basement.
Yeah.
Keep them bad, I guess.
We need to.
She had to go.
Oh, no. Right, right.
Turn to work.
Yeah, make it out of this time. So we'll get it done, okay.
I run the
And now they're taking.
Yeah, since that was the second time I fixed that window regulator and everything, I was through it like.
Oh, yeah, once you got it.
Yeah, the first time it'd be like 2 hours, because I didn't know what I'm doing, I was right.
Right.
I was changing the oil on my core tractor, which was 275A. I tell you what, those keep you. Like, you can't get to the.
I know.
Like, just to get to the oil.
Oh, no.
Oh, my. He was hoping he got out of it, right?
Yeah, ready? I'll go ahead and call meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Jim, you're up first, Nancy.
This I'm kind of added together because they've been calling in our balances for the new site, the inside. So I kind of added the Acumen, the inside together, so you would get at least the balance. Do you want me just? That's my. Okay. And here is things for our election agency.
Merchants and medical, $217.50. Para, $244.71.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let me go over to Jim.
Morning, all. Morning. This is a monthly report from February, given to March. Currently, 3 out of 6 ambulances, 3 at ALS level when staffing permits, which it permits well at right this second. One's out of service for cosmetic body work. It says repaired on this one, but another one went to get the body repaired after the minor parking lot collision a month ago. One ALS staff member at all times, medic 3. Knox base was 51% February staffing, was 2 staff ALS ambulances. It's an increase in 11%. ALS ambulances now 100% is minimum staffing, 1 paramedic at Knox base. Continue to operate the ALS non-transports on a 24-hour basis. Last month we did 41 total transfers out of 292 calls. Personnel. This I'm proud to say. We have no full-time openings for EMTs. We are one applicant away from having a full staff of paramedics. I also have two new part-time paramedics that have started and been through the system and they cleared. Training, February, we did pediatric car seat installation and usage and PAL straps with the proper lifting techniques with scale station. These PAL straps are phenomenal. One person can pick up a patient from down seated position without straining their back. Basically, all it is that somebody came up with a recovery strap, towing recovery strap, and designed it to work for EMS. It was pretty interesting. Last accident was 116, no injuries. Ambulance maintenance, medic one's up to date, current mileage, medic two just returned from TNT and went to sideline for bullet breaks. He came back this morning. Medic three is currently in the body shop for damage repair of the left rear. 514 is at Grovertown base right this second, acting as medic five. The new transfer truck is currently in service and won't transfer at this time. The old 84, which is at the highway department, wrecked. That was the one that got wrecked on 1/16/2024. So waiting re-chassis bids, which I gave you two re-chassis bids for you guys to look over for next month.
Yeah, with your hand in it.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. One of them's pretty decent bid, and that's all they do is re-chassis. We actually have one of their re-chassis, which is listed as 3308 now.
And on that, when we get to that next month, that month is on insurance.
Yeah, the majority of it will come from the insurance
From this wreck.
Yeah.
In Marshall County.
in Marshall County. We did get our deductible back because it was proven that Marshall County was at fault.
Okay.
So that $1,000 deductible came back to us, and no matter what, it was still a hit.
Right.
But I sent it out for 3 bids. 2 of them have gotten back to me. And like I said, I was waiting for the third, but he has no apparent interest. He must be a builder or contractor, kind of like the rest of them.
All right.
Doesn't want to do anything. Base maintenance, good thing is after talking to Lonnie, to expand the length and width of the doors, which he originally said he required a variance, Lonnie advised variance is no longer needed. So now I just have to find somebody willing to do the project. I've checked with multiple contractors in the county. None of them seem to have an apparent interest in doing it. So it's time to go out of county.
As they go on out.
More than once I've checked, probably more than 5 times I've checked with these guys, so wasting my time. Grant donations, actually, one just popped up today that I'm getting ready to look at, and our protective equipment is in good standings. Any questions?
Mine was just on the wreck then.
Yeah,
So why do you want to wait till next month to move forward or start the process
I
on?
want to give the one guy the one last chance to come in.
Okay,
These quotes right here, a brand new ambulance, the one we just got approved for next year, was $252,000 for the new one. That'll be here probably the end of the year. Now, the quotes that we got from Donnelly, it was $201,529 for an in-stock 2024 E450. Manufacture time takes 1 year. For McQueen, it was $166,000. Written in the specs, much better rehab process. That $166,000 is for a 2027 E450. We have to wait for the chassis, and they say a year and a half. And we have to give them the old chassis, which we bought back from the insurance company for $1,000.
where are they out of?
Actually, McQueen is local. They're in, well, formerly, they had a different name. Crossroads, and they're right outside Shipshawana.
So do we have to pay to haul it there probably?
No, they come pick it
They'll
up.
come
They
pick it
take
up.
it over there. They do
All in
everything,
that, all in that price?
all in that price. When you go through the specs, you can look in there and the specs, this is a complete rehab of the inside,
Mhm.
whereas the other one is not. The expensive one is not a complete rehab.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's with new lights. The other one has a new electrical panel, which there's nothing wrong with the old electrical panel. This ambulance was one of our favorites. The whole layout in the back. It's taking the walls out and taking all the new doors out, whereas the other guy just wanted to patch the walls and
Do you have any idea after the insurance claim what the difference is gonna be between that 166,000,
we got 89,000
89?
from the insurance company for that one.
Be pretty close to half,
That was pretty close to that.
yeah.
And
But we'll have a brand new ambulance if we go that route.
yeah, well, it'll be a 2027. I mean, like right now, I mean, some of them, the mileage, I just realized how quickly they're creeping up. I mean, 514s that took 220,000 miles.
Yeah.
Those, the 3308s at 146,000 on a gas motor. I mean, yeah, it's a 2021. But if we get the one that we're waiting on now, then that would put us at a 2024, 2025. And we do this one, it'll put us at a 2027. So the fleet will be in good shape at that point. And then maybe look further into the next 5-year, 3-year, 5-year plan to rotate one out and trade it in. We get more money back, we trade them in. So keep the cost down that way.
So this one we're rechassis and you've already got the new one on order. That rechassis is gonna be a year and a half.
Right. We don't, on the first one, the 201,000, they want half down. If we did go approve the McQueen one for 166, they want nothing down till it's done.
Okay.
Just FYI. It's not a formal request. I want to see what the last one comes in for.
Right.
I just figured we just go over what's in that paperwork.
But my only thought is, if that one's gonna be a year and a half. I mean, are you thinking about getting another one in the works relatively soon, if we're talking 2 years out?
Yeah, they are 2 to 3 years out right now.
Mhm.
So if this one comes out, then we'll revisit that at the end of the year when the next one comes out. We'll
Okay.
figure out which one needs to go. There's a couple of them here, once we get in the process, that we can actually send to the highway department also.
Okay.
Like the transfer truck. I mean, if we rotate, say 3308 into the transfer truck can go to the highway department. You know, it keeps them in supply too.
You did just get that unit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, usually only
Right,
has 77,000 miles. Right. Runs phenomenal.
well, like I said, my only thinking is if we're talking 2 years from now, do we need to get something in the works for planning ahead? But it sounds like you're kind of already thinking about that.
3 to 5 years, yeah.
Perfect.
Keep it that way.
Absolutely. Anything else, Don?
Thank you.
No, thank you. And now we have Amy up.
Good morning. Okay, so I wrote some things down. I hope you don't mind if I read them. I don't want to forget anything, but good morning. I'm honored to be here on behalf of Dr. and Mrs. Walter Fritz. They have generously decided to donate a small portion of land located on Highway 23 in Starke County for the development of a public kayak launch. This donation reflects their deep commitment to our community and their desire to provide residents and visitors with greater access to our beautiful riverways. Today, I'm pleased to present the deed for this land to the Starke County Commissioners. We hope this gift will serve as a lasting benefit to the community. I have a copy of the recorded deed and the press release. Sorry.
Is this property? I don't know, approximately a half a mile south of 8?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Has there been any public meetings to advertise that this kayak launch is going in there?
Before I came on, I don't believe there was. So we did have, this came up at the park board meeting in February. And there was someone who came to express the wish that that should have happened. So now going forward, I'll kind of know how to proceed when we do these sort of things.
Because
This was started, sorry, this was started before your time.
Right.
I did have a citizen come to me and he stated that even some of his neighbors are a little bit distraught because this is going in right across from kind of a public area. I mean, there's a lot of houses kind of right there.
Mhm.
And they wanted to know what was going to be done to mitigate the exposure from folks coming to this kayak launch to their property.
Right, so I guess one feeling is that by having a public launch like this, maybe people won't be going in a private property to get into the river. And I made the assurance to the person who came, I spoke to a couple people, actually, concerned citizens. And so it's my promise that I will keep an eye on this area as best as I can. I'll drive by there. It's kind of on my way to the beach, so I can keep an eye on it and we'll keep it picked up.
Is there any trees or any buffer that's being put up to help block it to some of those neighbors?
There is, I think that it won't be in their face as much. There will be trees to block, but it's hard to envision it without seeing it, but we do have the plan. I can send it to you.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Like I said, I've just had some folks reach out to me about it.
Well, as we're talking about this, then we do have another kayak launch on English Lake, which we're doing a ribbon cutting for on April 26th at noon. And I'll remind you later, but I want to tell you now, and it is the park department's, I guess, long-term goal to do more of these kayak launches around the county to maybe where we can get them every 2.5 hours around the Kankakee and River, Yellow Rivers. So now we'll kind of know going forward how to best proceed.
What's the name of that little town right there?
123.
Yeah,
Over.
that's over, yeah. Because there's quite a few houses right there that this could potentially impact. And I'm not saying that a kayak launch is a bad thing. I think it's great. But I do see the concern of those folks.
Right. I think it's down in a little, like a valley a bit, so it shouldn't be right in their yard. It should be a little more private.
Okay.
But I'll send you the plan. And while I'm up here, so next thing, my second order of business today is to update you on the Bass Lake Beach and Campground renovation project. And to ask permission to go before the council to ask for a change of scope to the project, as we need to use existing funds from our budget for projects that weren't included in the original scope. So in the fall, I came to understand that the Bass Lake renovation project did not include a new roof, and that there was no plan to add heat or central air. So no insulation was going to be going into the building, and the existing gas lines were to be capped. I brought this to the park board, and it was decided amongst the board that it would be best to include these projects in the final scope. We intended to use the Bass Lake Beach House for community events and rentals throughout the year, and believe that this is the best value for the community. So we'd like to use our carry forward funds that already exist in our budget and the cash fund for these projects. And it's our hope that we'll be allowed to begin these projects as soon as possible with the blessing of the commissioners and council. So I put together, these are the quotes that were already voted on by the park board. For the roof, the gutters, gas line and installation, and I really like to thank Rick Green for helping me on all of this. Getting he pretty much he did all the roof quotes and got all that together for us. So on the back page, you'll kind of see a total that's for all the roofs, not just the beach house. So that would be every building minus the 2 pavilions on the north and south end. How much the gutter costs that were voted on by the park board, and then the gas lines and insulation would have to be added to the crew that's already there.
It's in your budget.
Yeah, she's got a back page.
So, and we think this would probably be best, but I would like your blessing to go before the council to ask.
Why not? And like I say, you're gonna get all the roofs, you're not gonna just get the one, so that's a plus, because the garage definitely needs it right now.
Right, and so I was out there last week, meeting some people for quotes, and they were doing the pinpoint tucking on the chimneys, and they were cleaning them in the water. The reason the roof isn't in the original scope of work is they thought that it wasn't leaking. But when they were cleaning the chimneys, the water was coming through, I saw it. So,
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Thanks for it, Joe.
Yeah, thank you. We have Mary up from the planning commission.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
See you.
All right. I emailed this stuff to you guys. I don't know if you had a chance to review it or not, but so when we did the budgeting for the BZA secretary, the number at the top there is the number that I was told to budget for the year for that position. As you can see, this is the email I got from it. However, I'm now being told that that was not a correct number and that is short $1,113 for the year. It should have been higher, I guess,
Who's saying it's short?
the auditor's office.
So they're saying this number's not gonna work out. You need
Right, so
100,000.
at the end of the year, I'm gonna be short in that account, that amount.
So how did the dollar amount become short? Is she being paid too much right now per week?
I don't know how that works. All I
The,
know is.
the email was
yeah,
sent before the 3% increase was calculated in.
So,
So then on the
That's why-
salary ordinance, it says the 38.
That's why they're short the thousand.
Yeah, so yeah, it should have been 38 too. But when the email was sent out, the 3% hadn't been approved yet, so then they budgeted on that.
So the 1,100 is approximately the 3% difference.
Mhm.
And the budget amount is the 38. And
The
some change.
budgeted amount was 38,787. The salary ordinance amount is the 38 too.
You say 38 too?
Well, we need the motion, the letter goes to the council and the,
Yeah, for the additional.
I mean, it's the 3% every, you know,
Money's technically there for the 38.
yeah,
right,
that makes sense being the 3%.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the increase due to a clerical error.
second.
Then we had a motion and a second, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
thank you. All right, and then, this. Huh, you ready to go? Nope. Oh. Nothing there. Okay, so then, this is, some quotes that I got for some tablets. I had discussed this with Mike a little bit, and I've discussed it with the planning commission about going to tablets instead of using binders and paper copies of everything for each meeting. So at the last planning commission meeting, we discussed this and, as you can see on that second page, I put together a table there. The quote would be for 12 devices. The planning commission, they seem to like the idea of possibly the commissioners, giving approval for a flat number of around $3,000, because the prices can fluctuate, you know, day to day on stuff like this, but, they were looking, I believe, more at the Samsung tablets that are down there at the bottom, on that table.
Very bottom.
Yep.
You have that in your budget. You need.
That's why I'm here to see you guys to ask for approval.
Oh, approval.
Yeah. To, well, for you guys to pay for them.
I thought there was money in the budget, or you thought there was in your current budget.
I have a penalty fund, that we could use, for some of them. It's a shared, there's two shared funds. There's a BZA penalty and a planning commission penalty fund. We could use money out of those. So,
And there's enough money in there.
yeah. Mhm.
You're on that board and see that. They're good for the tablets and.
Yeah, everybody was in favor of it. And I'll reach out to Roberta here. I don't think there was anybody on the board that was opposed to the tablets.
No, we just wanted to shop around a little bit because like on Amazon, we could get the same
Yeah.
Samsung tablet for of almost $80 cheaper, but again, depending on timing and when you order it. So that's why we kind of voted towards just a flat with the hope of not spending on.
I would say let's use your budget and then if you run short,
Okay.
come back to us.
Okay, how would you suggest? Would you suggest it like 50-50 between those two accounts, or?
I would, so you don't drain one. I
Okay.
think it'd work better for you.
We have a motion by Don,
Second,
second by Mike, all those in favor, aye.
And, so, one of these pamphlets, the thicker one, is, an introduction, to this company, Canada. They're based out of around Indy. The planning commission's reached out to them, and in the proposal pack about possibly, getting a new solar ordinance drafted through them, or have them helping us draft one through them. The second to last page in the proposal one has an estimated fee for the quote being of $10,000. And they're wanting to see if this is something that you guys would be favorable towards doing.
so the discussion at the plan commission was favorable to hiring this company to come in to give a presentation. My suggestion was I didn't want them to come in and do a big presentation for us if there was no hope of moving forward with their costs. So I think this is Mary's efforts to make sure that we would be in favor of spending this money through us and the council before we have them come in. So this wouldn't necessarily be an obligation to move forward, but at least have them come in.
Being
and do
if
it.
this is something we want to move forward with.
So. Aren't we looking at another company gonna rewrite our ordinance for 16,000 or something?
Well, I don't think they were gonna reroute, they were going to organize.
Organize it?
Yeah. So this is a worldwide company and they have created a division to just help folks with the understanding and the environmental concerns. And just make sure that ordinances are set up to date.
Charlie?
Yeah.
So, and just to add, it's not just rewriting the ordinances. I've just now started reading into that, Donnie. What I like is that they also go and they look at our existing projects just to see what were some of the environmental things that we might miss. So it's not just writing the ordinances, if I'm reading that correctly. They're gonna look at, okay, what is the soil compaction caused for us? What did it cause? Did it cause? So it's not just 10 grand to write an ordinance. So I just want to make sure that that was kind of clear, but it's more of an environmental study as well.
They stayed in there, how long it'll take them to do this? I mean,
And I'm not sure, yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't, yeah.
Well, maybe, I mean, I'm okay with it, but it's gonna take them 2 or 3 years on.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't get that.
yeah.
impression.
I'm seeing talk or whatever.
Yeah, I think if we make a motion to just move in this direction, we're still not obligating us to the 10,000. We're
Right.
just saying we're interested enough for them to come in and give us a spiel.
Right.
so to speak.
Maybe even see if there's another company. too.
Right.
Basically to see if this is a route that we would be
Right.
wanting to go down, so,
That's what I say, if you will look in, see if there's another company also
so.
that might quote this bid.
And have them potentially give a presentation as well. Well, I'd make a motion to approve up to 10,000 in the event that they come in and do a presentation for the county ahead of time.
We had a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We had a second, all those in favor? Aye.
Right?
Lastly, last thing I wanted to bring up is, in regards to, the recorder renovation, respectfully, I would just ask you guys to find the best solution for this and, you know, to basically it would eliminate the tension between the departments. And I'm willing to work with whatever solution you guys come up with, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good. We have Kathy up next.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey,
I have lots of stuff for you. Magazines. For your reading pleasure. We did prepare a written report. However, I didn't finish it till 9:30 last night because I forgot. So I was going to email it to you in advance. So I apologize. So I'll briefly go over the items in here with you. I'm Kathy Norton. Nice to meet you. I've missed you. Of course, I know these two. I'm the president of the Starke County Convention and Visitors Commission. And today here with me, one of my board members is Joanne Bailey. I'm glad she could make it. She's been on the board ever since I started on the board. This is my 5th year. And this is going to be my last year. So I will not be seeking reappointment at the end of the year. Just to give you a little history here, the CVC was created when the Starke County Council elected to enact the innkeeper tax, which they chose the maximum rate of 5%. And that was in 2007. There's an ordinance on file. Michaeline sent me a copy of it because I had read it before, but I wanted to make sure I didn't misquote anything when I was writing this report, so you can get a copy of that. A fund was created in accordance with the law, and the commissioners created a board, a 9-member board to govern how that money was to be distributed. And according to the Indiana code, it can only be used for the promotion and to encourage convention visitors and tourism within the county. Since January of 2020, there have been 6 consistent members. Myself, Mayor Eastock, Earl Henry, Mary Perrin, Joanne Bailey, and Bernadette Manuel. We have 2 vacancies on this board right now because it's supposed to be a 9-member board, and the city of Knox has an appointment, 1 appointment out of those 9. We have had a lot of difficulty sometimes getting a quorum together, and we've had to call people to come to the meeting, you know, if they had planned to be out doing whatever in a summer day, whatever. So one of the things we want to talk to you about today is reducing the size of the board, but I'll get to that. The first 2 years, we did not have a budget. We followed suit with what the other boards had done prior to us, and that was whatever was in there, got spent. In the beginning, when this was enacted, I think the people were supposed to self-report, so there wasn't a lot of money because what do you know, a lot of people didn't report their vacancies. About the time I got onto this board, the state enacted a law that required the National Bed and Breakfast Associations, et cetera, that advertised in Indiana to collect that tax from the vendor that they were representing, and they sent it to the state, and then the state sent it to us. Well, then you started seeing the revenues climbing from that point. So what we did, since we didn't have a budget, I didn't want us to spend all the money up, and we operated just like the community foundation does, where we distributed funds on the average of 12 rolling quarters. So that first year, we only spent $15,000 roughly. So what I did basically, other than kind of outline the Indiana code for you and some of the things that were on there, is I broke down by each year some of the things that the board did. Mostly we started out by granting what we call grants. They're not true grants, but we called them grants to the festivals. And we had a specific amount. We solicited from them. We put ads in the paper. We put information on the radio. So we started, distributing money in that effect. Then after that, let's see, in 2019, we had a carryover of 28,000. During 2020, we received about 48,000, and we had 15,800 in expenditures. We also started offering the festivals who were already advertising in this publication. It goes out everywhere. About 500,000 copies are distributed a year. A lot of them had very small ads that would be, for example, like this, where you really didn't see much. So we offered them a subsidy if they would get up to something like this. We pay half and they pay half. So that right off the bat started increasing their information in these books, made it a lot more noticeable. Then we took out an ad, the CVC itself, for Starke County, and this was last year's ad. We did a whole page ad. We started out with half page and we went to full page ads, and then we linked back to the various festivals. So that would hopefully get some more exposure out in the public. In 2022, we created a final report that the grantees had to submit to us. So not only do they have to submit an application, they have to submit a final report when they're done. So we know how they spent money, how many people they estimated came to their festivals, et cetera, et cetera. We wanted pictures from them. We started a Facebook page. And eventually we got to where we have just started a website, but I'll get to that as well. In 22, we had a carryover of 60,000. We received about 50,000 and we spent about 50,000. What we did that year was we still operated on the 12 rolling quarters, but at the end of the year, we decided to give the Knox Park Board and the Starke County Park Board $15,000 each to be used towards a kayak launch. So that's why we ended up with the extra 30,000. In 23, we began with a council approved budget of 40,000. That was about the average of what we had been spending. And I also am very pleased that year, Mary Perrin and Earl Henry worked with the Indiana Convention of Visitors Commission to give a seminar here in Stark County with the Indiana Festivals Association about how to run a festival, how to advertise, how you put ads together, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a half-day seminar. Everybody that had a festival attended this. And I have to give kudos to Mary and to Earl Henry because they put a lot of work and effort into this, and it was very well received. So that we spent a little money on that. And we did have somebody here from the Indiana Festival Association as well. In 2022, we also gave another $5,000 to the to the Starke County Park Board towards their kayak launch. So by this time, we give them a total of $20,000. That year we had a carryover of 60,000. We had receipts of 75,000, and we spent 37,000 of our $40,000 approved budget. And I have the reports here. You pulled them to see exactly what it was, but most of it was for grants and advertisement. In 24, we began again with 40, which was last year, another $40,000 operating budget from the council. We drafted a new logo. We originally had one that Earl developed that looked like this. But we drafted a new logo, a little bit more professional logo, although I thought Earl didn't mind. I don't know why we had to have a new logo, but he thought we needed a new logo, so we got one. And we'll be using that starting this year. And we transferred another 10,000 to the Starke County Park Board for the construction of their first kayak launch. So we gave them a total of $30,000 for that kayak launch that was constructed at English Lake. That I know the Community Foundation gave them $5,000, and the remainder of it was paid for by the Kankakee River, Yellow River Basin Commission. So we're pretty happy about that. And that was the ribbon cutting that Amy was talking about coming up in April. We had $97,000 that we carried over from the prior year. We had $78,000 in receipts, and we spent $42,749.40, which was $2,749.40 over the approved budget. Because we weren't paying good enough attention is basically what that came down to. We would have held some of those checks because they were at the end of the year until the new year, but that's exactly what happened. I mean, if you want to ask what happened, that's what happened. We didn't pay close enough attention. So I don't know what you want to do about that $2,000, but you can't spend it on anything except what we try to spend it on anyway. So I don't know if there's anything that needs to be done about that or not. We did have a conversation about that at our last board meeting about the need to make sure that we don't overspend on a budget that we get from the council. And that's all I can say about that. I do want to specifically recognize Earl Henry and Mary Perrin for their work on this board. They're the ones, we do not get paid, and in fact is prohibited by law that we get paid. Mary and Earl write all the ad copies. So in these magazines, you will see ads that they had, either ads and or articles that they have done in the Travel Indiana, which comes out quarterly. They do the ads and the copy for the Indiana festivals. They did this project themselves and put these notebooks together for everybody. And then Earl is now working on a trifold brochure that will be coming out, as well as a Facebook page and a website that Earl has worked on. Without those two on the board, we would not have gotten all this done, I don't think. I'm not sure. Earl has one more year on his term, and Mary she was just reappointed with me, so. Or no, she just got reappointed. No, she's at the end of the year with me. So one of the things we want to ask you about, because we have a lot of difficulty getting quorums together, is the Indiana Code provides for the commissioners to establish the number of people on it, but it does not address making changes to that. So I'm assuming, I mean, you have to consult your attorney. He'd have to make a decision or a recommendation to you. But I think if you could establish it to begin with, and there's nothing in there about reducing it or making it bigger, you could do that, maybe home rule or something, I don't know. But that would be up to your attorney, but we would ask you to reduce the number from 9 to 7. We consistently get 4 people there, but sometimes we have trouble getting that 5th person there. Since we have a vacancy, 2-member vacancy right now would be perfect time to consider that and to do that.
You think you'd be okay with 7? I think.
Yeah. Yes, the law says you're supposed to have people that are knowledgeable about conducting festivals, conventions, et cetera, et cetera. Well, how many, those do we have? It's like Joanne, she does, because she has the Sanpere Parks and Recreation, and they do a festival down there every year. Dennis Eastock, they do the one here in Knox. Earl, his graphic arts is just incredible, the expertise that he brings to the board. But it also says if they are available and willing to serve, you want 2 people who actually have a B&B and collect the tax. We have from time to time had folks like that on the board, but they have not stayed with us for whatever reason. Now, one thing that was changed over the years was originally had to reside in Starke County. But if you have a business, a B&B business in Starke County, and you reside outside the county, then you can be considered to be on this board. But you can't be a resident in another county and not have a B&B here, and you just can't come in from the other county to be on this board. You have to be a resident other than that. There's no mention of political affiliation on this. I don't think there ever has been, although there's been a couple of changes to this board over time. And the town of Knox, who is the largest political subdivision in Starke County, has by a mathematical formula, which calculates out to be 1 person. So on the 9-member board, the commissioners make 8 appointments and the city makes 1. And Dennis has chosen to appoint himself. So I got to give a lot of credit to my board members that participate, especially these 6 that are consistently there all the time. I say consistently, but then that would mean we wouldn't need to reduce the board, because they do take time off. Mary had to take some time off. Joanne had some time off. And I think even in the last 5 years, I think I've missed 1 meeting myself. So anyway, gentlemen, it's been really interesting. We've been able to do more and more. The word's getting out more and more. We did agree this year to provide some funding for the US 30, the Todd Linebaugh's thing that
Oh, the rock.
yes. So we're gonna provide some funding for that. I think the park board is gonna look for some funding for a Jimmy Buffett tribute concert. So we have more and more people asking for funds. So I'm pretty sure this year we're going to end up having to come back to the council for an additional appropriation, since I'm pretty sure we're going to overshoot the $40,000 budget this year. And when that happens, I'll make sure I provide a full explanation of why we need those additional funds.
So Justin, is there anything we need to do to lower that board?
Yeah, educate me if you would, Kathy, because I've never had a reason to look at the statute, and it sounds like you have. Does it set a minimum threshold for number of members that has to be on there, or just?
It says it has to be an odd number.
Odd number.
In particular, let's see. It says, and it's Indiana Code 6-9-18-5. The county commissioners are to establish the number of members for this new board as long as an odd number are appointed. A simple majority are to be engaged in convention, visitor, or tourism business, or involved in promoting the same. The city/town with the largest population has an appointment according, and that's that mathematical formula spelled out there in the Indiana Code. And political affiliations not mentioned. The appointments are for 2 years. And so that's, other than that, I personally, I don't, I would think there'd be some way to reduce that number if but it does not mention anything about making changes after the initial appointment. So.
Yeah, from what I've read, her reasoning seems to follow the cases that I've seen when it comes to if they expressly grant you the power to set the number of members, you know, again, the case law that I've read, not in this particular circumstance, but you can also lower those members as long as it doesn't prejudice. You know, some forms it says you can only remove somebody for cause. Presumably that's not the case here. So I'll verify this, but my thought is just an amendment to the 2007 ordinance. Can you email that to me? I don't know that I've ever seen.
Yes, I can forward that to you.
Yeah, and again, presumably, and I'll follow up on this. We can just amend that ordinance if you guys are agreeable to lower it to 7. So.
Do you wanna look into that before we?
I would suggest you do,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
She
Because-
wouldn't have to come back for the next meeting.
No, I don't.
Put it on our
Yeah.
agenda.
If you just take a look at that and make a decision one way or the other, and if you decide to keep it at the 9-member board, we're too short right now. And it does say you can only remove them for just cause, but we're too short right now anyway, so.
And we would leave that one appointment from the city and the rest. of
Yes,
them.
that would remain the same, yes.
I got on that 2,000, we need to do something with that. Do we need to
I don't know.
make a motion that you go on to the council or?
Well, I'm going to the council tonight to give them the same report, because initially what my memory had. Did I give you guys all a copy of this report? Oh, I apologize. Oh. I'm sorry. And I can email that to you, but I didn't figure emailing it to you at 9:30 at night last night would be a very good idea, so. Sorry about that.
We won't move on that 2,000 unless you tell us or a council or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'll ask them tonight what they want us to do, but again, I mean, I can't. It was just sheerly not being good. I knew we were close. But I should have I got too many things on my plate, so sorry.
So when that circles back for the next meeting, we just need to vote on that as well.
And like I said, right now, since we're 2 members short, it would be a perfect time to do that. So because we wouldn't have to bump anybody off or wait for somebody to resign or whatever.
Yeah. Good count, tell me that, do something on the 2,000, make sure you put
Yeah.
that on there.
Yes. Well, I was a little taken back when I thought, holy shit. This is the second year we get a budget and here we are overshooting the thing, so. They'll probably string us up and shoot us at sunrise, so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Right.
Then we had, Bob Roy on here.
Explain that.
I don't even, Bob,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, Bob's not here. I guess we'll skip that. Jesse Gilly, I believe.
Morning, gentlemen, ladies. So I'll give you one, so you have it. I'm sorry. Justin knows me, but I'm gonna give him one anyway. So thank you for having me. I just, first I want to apologize and thank you, Miss Suzanne, because I was scheduled to come earlier in the month and had an emergency, so I had to reschedule. So thank you for seeing me again. Just wanted to give a little bit of an update on Marshall Starke Development Center. I don't know how familiar all of you gentlemen are with Marshall Starke and what it is we do within the 2 counties, but we're an organization with a brick and mortar building located in the Marshall County area in Plymouth. Started in the 60s. We serve at this juncture primarily adults with physical and developmental delay. And up until recently, we had done that through various programs. One of our main programs being our sheltered workshop that took place in Marshall County. And that will actually be going to the wayside in April. So we'll be focusing, redirecting and focusing on community integration. My job, and the reason I wanted to speak to you today, is fairly new to Marshall Starke. So I'm their Vice President of Mission Advancement. We actually have 2 board members here. Mr. Williams is here and Ms. Ostrike is on our board of directors as well. So they were wonderful. This is the first time they've had a missions advancement position in the last about 40 to 50 years. And it just means that I'm really good at talking and I don't mind running around and asking for money. So, but a lot of really great things coming up in Marshall Stark. If you're not familiar with the history, it was started in the 60s primarily to serve children with developmental delays that were not permitted into the public school system by families in the Plymouth and Knox area who had children with those disabilities. Of course, as those children grew and kind of aged out, there was a day program, a workshop program established here in Knox in the 70s to serve those adults and to teach them pre-vocational skills as well as life skills. That facility was closed, I think, sometime in the 80s and was absorbed into the new Marshall County building that had been constructed, and some moved over to the Manitowoc Training Center in Fulton County. Currently, we serve about 170 day program clients. Their cognitive abilities are on a very wide range, anywhere from being on the lower end of the autism spectrum to some very severe cognitive delay. 19 of them are residential clients, which means they have independent residences that have supervision provided to them. Some of them are here in Knox, some are in Plymouth. We have some as far as St. Joe County, Pulaski, Fulton counties. So we serve about 8 total counties, with 4 being our main hub facilities. Knox being one of them, obviously, it's in our name. So as I said, April 1st, we're transitioning out of sheltered workshop. Sheltered workshop was something that was established in the 70s. It allowed our clients to do third piece work for factories or other companies or organizations in the communities. It's being phased out because of legislation at the federal level that has to do with minimum wage and what's required. So we're going again to kind of pivot into what we're calling community integration. So that will mean teaching the clients that have the ability, life skills, vocational skills that allow them to get jobs in the communities in which they're existing now. We already have a good number of businesses here in Knox that participate in that. You'll see some of our clients if you go into Burger King, McDonald's, 5 Star, all of these places employ some of MSDC's clients for independent employment. So it's been really great. It's super exciting. We have a lot of clubs that we're starting, new programs. Something new that we're implementing is a quarterly appeal. So if you don't know exactly what that is, it's what we call a hard ask. Every quarter, it'll be a letter that we send out to people who have either given to Marshall Stark in the past, have donated funds toward programming, or people who have expressed interest in that. And those funds will be utilized to bulk our reserve funding. I'm sure everyone in here has heard a lot about Medicaid and the legislative things that are happening at a federal level. And because the majority of our clients depend on state and federal funding and Medicaid to utilize our services, of course, that's of concern to us right now and kind of our top priority. So to establish our reserve funding in case those funds go away, we want to be able to continue providing services to them at a lower, reduced or no cost programmatically to them, because it's something that they need. We have a capital campaign coming up in the next 4 to 5 years. The capital campaign will focus primarily on raising funds for either renovation or complete rebuild of the Marshall County and hopefully in the Starke County area facilities, as well as renovation to our Fulton County Manitowoc Center training facility. They're very outdated. The Marshall County facility was built in the 70s. Super structurally, architecturally very cool for the 70s, and was very usable then, not so much now. So we're looking to do some updates, and our main goal is just to continue providing and expanding our service base for the people who are attending currently, to attain more clients as more and more children are diagnosed on the spectrum. There's a larger need. It's increasing exponentially every year with mental health concerns for people to have access. And then, of course, implementing and providing access to resources for their guardians and their parents, right? So people that have to provide care for them day in and day out, making sure that they're receiving the support and resources they need to be able to do that effectively. And also to relieve some of the burden from county organizations that have to provide additional services when people need them, that we can be that resource, and it relieves a little financial burden from all of you. Currently, Stark County, you guys are incredibly generous. You give us $40,000 a year, which we're incredibly thankful for. That is about half of what we receive from Marshall County, slightly more than we receive from Fulton County. Of the 8 counties that we serve, only 3 of you afford us funding, and we're beyond appreciative of that. So we do ask that you continue to think of us when you're budgeting every year, and should you be so inclined to slightly increase that, it will go very far. Again, as we expand our program base and the number of people that we serve, of course, those expenses tend to increase. And with, again, all of the legislative changes in place, we're looking at having reduced funding streams federally and through the state. So
What do we fund you?
so the $40,000 currently goes toward programmatic funding and general maintenance expenses. So making sure that we can keep it heated and keep the lights on. Transportation is huge. Obviously with inflation, the influx in gasoline prices have been great recently. But we provide transportation for people who maybe reside in Knox, but utilize our day program in Marshall County, and some of those other programs. So do you have any questions for me? It's a lot in a very short period of time.
Are you needing an okay on the?
No, just for you to consider us when you're doing your budgeting. Yes, yeah, just to give you a little bit of an update, and I'd like to come and give you an update as often as you'd like it. Of course, you gentlemen are always welcome to come and see us at Marshall Starke. I know you're very busy, though, so getting over there might be a little difficult, but yeah, I'm happy to come update you as much as you'd like on what your generous support goes towards. So
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Then we have Mikey up.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity this morning. This is just a copy for all of you to have. This won't be the one we sign. It's the same exact contract. The only thing that would be different was, we did have a 2-year contract, but last meeting we decided that we would go with a 1-year moving forward. So that is the only change in the contract. Was it what said 2 and now it says 1.
We approved it, we just have to.
Yes, yes. Just that, yeah, this is just the formality of signing it. This is the copy to sign right here. It has, I'm sorry, it has Michaeline. I don't know how
We just have her sign it when she gets back.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have to move to.
Justin, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so. Well, you're reading as quickly as you can.
Yeah,
I just wanted to verify.
I also look at the funding level 89, 80, I think is what we kept. at,
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
You just want me to hold this, and then the next meeting, do I need Michaeline? I need to sign that as well.
You want to take that?
Or do
Yeah,
I?
I can take
Okay,
it
okay.
and then we'll let you know as soon as it's signed. She
Email
comes
it
back.
back to you, whatever.
Okay.
Like that. Is she gonna be out for a while?
She comes back Friday the 28th.
The only thing that I don't know is when
I wouldn't
she
think
does
so.
it, is that
I mean, we
when
approved the
would
times,
sign?
right?
Yeah, that's her, yeah.
I dated this.
So that was
Because
your-
the parties that issue would have signed today, so.
So on this day, the 17th. For you guys today, thank you.
Thank you. Then Rick, you're up.
Guys, I don't my paperwork. I don't. First one I have is renovation of the old jail, bringing that up. He did send a copy over of the contract, because the architect awarded to EAM.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he already awarded it.
And kind of waiting on, waiting on the money from the council. To approve whatever. We're gonna
And then it
do.
was. 240, 624. We've been on this for like 2 years. I make a motion, we go forward with it. And if our King Cap and the council don't, they don't, I think we need it. That's on this annex too.
This was a small addition too, wasn't it?
Well, it's where the inmates used to go outside and get fresh air.
The walls are there.
The walls
filled in. This is the new roof, new furnace for that area. And then it'd be 2 offices and a
Meeting room.
meeting room.
And concrete going out to the back. Which if he brings that up, we still gotta finish that concrete in the back.
Right,
And the bison will just coming up next year.
right.
Yeah, I tried to get a tour over there last week, but just couldn't connect.
Oh, really? Should have.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
should've gotten
Rick.
with Rick. So I guess at this point, I'm not gonna vote on it just because I'm not clear on exactly what's gonna be done, so I'll leave it up to you guys.
Well, we had a motion by Don and I'll second that. All those in favor, aye. And Mike, you abstain.
Okay, next on your paper there, the bison area. You guys said the northeast corner. I took Mike out there today and I think everybody's been there. I kind of drew up a little map of what side it's gonna be and where the sidewalk's coming from. If you guys like
We
it,
did decide to come off that. Yeah, I like that.
Did you look at the cameras from across the?
they very little. So I probably want to see if we can get a new camera.
Yeah.
Put out there for that.
Stanley's sitting here, we could ask him
Yeah.
on the, you know what we're talking about, Stanley?
No.
We're gonna set the bison out here on this corner. And Mike
Northeast.
mentioned the security, which is, we need. Can them cameras off of this building over here shoot on that, or can we get one closer?
Might be able to adjust the camera on the corner of the old jail there.
I went and looked at it. We see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But to get the whole picture, I believe there's a tree in the way. So it would be very
I think
little
we
what we
definitely
can
need
see.
to look into that. Before we mount it.
Yeah.
But the location's good.
Yeah, I think so. I like
That's
it.
good.
Yeah, I think it'll look good.
But we do need to get movement on that camera, 'cause whoever might think about vandalizing this, we need to make sure we can see
Yeah.
what's going on.
And then I'll have to get forward on the Hereford to get me another quote on that design.
I think we'll move forward with it and then you, get your quote.
And do you want to also do the sidewalk in the back by the old jail?
I say let's wait until the renovation's going, because I think if Mike's in the area, he'll still do it for.
And speaking of that, I don't know if anybody's approved the money for the concrete. For the first ones you guys approved.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah,
I thought
we approved.
Yeah,
some of
we
them.
did, yeah.
We approved all but that back sidewalk and annex 2 sidewalk.
Out of where, King Cap or?
Yeah, I believe we did it on that meeting.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did
Yeah, he
pass a
approved it.
motion.
We didn't do the curb and that sidewalk.
Yeah,
The sidewalk, we're
50-50.
gonna do 50-50 with the city.
And then the bison you did, so.
Right.
Okay. Okay, the next one you have there is gutters for this
Need a
building.
motion on that or with the bison stuff.
I might as well get the bid first.
Yeah, You want us to sign one of these for you, maybe? Would that help you? One of your drawings, if this is what we want?
On the, if you're gonna sign the one for the renovation, it's already prepared for you to sign.
Well, I guess this here.
This, the.
I don't need that.
Okay,
Sign,
so we'll
no.
just move forward with it.
Just gonna get a bid from, Hereford on the concrete and then we'll move forward with that one.
But the other stuff you can move forward
Yeah.
with, so we're not, yeah.
Right. I need to get, okay.
It's
If
the
I can
first
find it.
Cume cap, so I guess you just have to go to the council and get it. Or whatever.
Yeah, I did that too, and they
Oh,
didn't
okay.
approve it through the. Okay, gutters for this building, Annex 1. First one you got H&B. Which is, he did not put the leaf guard on there. The leaf guard is $1,600 more. He just got back with me a little bit ago. So that's $5,400 for H&B. He's also got the beach house gutters, which the park board approved that. So,
So you're gonna be 38 plus 16?
yeah, $5,400. And then J&B's $9,858. And A&M is $8,736. And Northwest is $6,445.
So we'll just put out there on the radio and stuff, we were doing this, so our local guys could bid on.
It was during the last meeting.
Can you tell what the difference is? Did you talk to these guys?
Yeah, they're all seamless gutters
Okay.
and leaf, they've all got the designs at the leaf guard, so I can't really say they're all doing the same guard, but it all is seamless and downspouts.
And all 6 inch.
Well, yeah, it has to be 6 inch due to the metal roof.
It's all with downspouts, all included, all the quotes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all the same besides he forgot to put the leaf guard on, is on H&B.
When could he start?
That I can't answer for sure. Hopefully sooner the better, but
Did you guys ever get up there with a ladder just to verify that there was indeed holes in there?
yeah, we can see them from that. Yeah.
Okay.
You can see them. It needs it.
Okay.
I want the leaf guards because that help protect it. Well, plus the do it's gonna be aluminum, not metal.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, I'd make a motion to move forward with H&B with the leaf guard for the 5,400 total.
So we had a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Question on when it started,
No.
my problem.
I'm sure pretty quick. Cause it's early in the year.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, we don't want to wait.
No, we can't, especially at the beach house.
Sorry, Amy, we get first bid up here.
Okay, auction. You guys approved the gov deal, come do auction for us. Hey, she will be here on March 20th on Thursday. Take pictures of all the equipment stuff we have. I just want to fill you guys in and maybe let the public know with this meeting. That we're gonna be on govdeals.com for our online auction.
You probably don't have a date on it yet.
No, I'd say within a week or two after the 20th. Okay, thank you.
Rick,
Thanks, Rick.
and then we had codification, which I don't know if they've moved any further on that. No. Mandy, you're up.
Michaeline and I were talking about the education fund. So I guess that's why she put me on here for that. We had a question. In code, it states that they can use it for hotel and for like other than education, but since we have such a small amount of money in there, is there a way to do some kind of ordinance for a time being until there's a larger amount built up in there? to state that it can only be used for training purpose, like for actual class.
Okay, so you're wanting to narrow the definition within our ordinance of what it can only be used for training expenses, you're saying not?
Right, until there is like a built up amount back in there.
I can check.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure offhand, but I would think.
It's kind of null point right now because that money needs to be appropriated and apparently it wasn't appropriated. So that fund can't be used at all anyway, so,
Okay, you're saying for 25, it wasn't appropriate.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Is
I
that for
mean,
anybody's motel, Mandy, or what?
what?
Is this for anybody's motel or the
Yeah,
trainer?
well, for the 5 offices that can use that fund.
Okay.
So. But since we only have a small amount of money in there, we were questioning if we could just use it for the actual training purposes so that we'd get a little further with it.
This is what Michaeline was.
We were discussing, her and I, yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess I'm just questioning, again, the office. I did send last Wednesday, I sent 10 books out, for repairs, so.
I want to circle back to that training. If that does get bolstered up, there's been discussion that maybe there's people that are going to training that don't need to go to training. Is if we're going to bolster this, and I do think that the appropriate people should go to as much training as the county can provide, but should there be some kind of oversight as to getting approval for training expenses?
I don't think it hurt.
I mean, if we're gonna bolster that up to get our people training, I hate for it to get dwindled away on it.
So how other counties do it, because it technically is a recorder fund. How other counties do it is the auditor will separate for the recorder, the clerk, the surveyor, the auditor, and the treasurer. Yeah. That was off the top of my head there. So they will take what comes in that month, because we quiet in the money for that fund, and then they divide it 5 ways. And those are the offices that use that money, and then they can only use the money that's in there.
Do they set up separate funds for that major? Do they all run it under one fund? They just have segregated?
We can find that out. I think they used like it was in the same fund, but they used like a ABC. Yeah, just like
Okay.
Wouldn't it, like training, wouldn't it be ideal to put in each department's budget, or I mean?
That's what I'm saying. I need to look more at the papers.
well, so that fund does need to be appropriated by the council. For budget purposes, it does have to be appropriated. So I mean, you can only appropriate what's
Right,
in there.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much you got coming in and you're saying you buy it 5 ways.
We put about,
I would just like to look at that.
yeah,
Makes.
I would have brought that down, I'm sorry. Do you know offhand what we have in there right now?
No.
And
I
how
don't
does it get
either.
put in there and,
She brings in a monthly quietus once a month and it gets put in, like, it's already designated on her report what goes in that fund.
okay, monthly?
Yeah, it's $1 per document, so it just depends on what we do monthly. Yearly, we do anywhere from 4,500 to 5,500 documents. So we don't really put a whole lot of money into that account.
I wonder
Yearly.
if we could develop like a form that would get submitted with an estimated cost with hotel and mileage. And, maybe it just gets presented by the auditor at this meeting, we sign off on it, and then they can move forward with the expense. Now, if it's off a little bit, it's off a little bit.
Right,
But then it's not, maybe getting used for things that,
generally.
right. And I'm not saying that situations come up, but I'd rather it.
Most offices have gone to training. I mean, this is Kelly's first year, but I mean, she can always look back on the previous treasurers, what she did for training, and we can put it in our budget. I mean, it's not.
And not have to use that fund.
No, it would be out of that training fund, but we would put it into our budget. Like I said, it's supposed to be divided 5 ways, and each office could, put this, and then the council can approve or, lower it and whatever.
I do. So there is a line in my budget for
meetings and mileage. So the SRI conference I went to was not state called, but it is for tax sale. I took the money out of that fund, out of the meeting fund and the mileage fund, but it is very small. It was like $300 in one and 500 in the other. The SRI conference is in Carmel. So they're back, plus your hotel room for the night. Half of it's gone already. So, the only other training that I did sign up for is state called stuff that we have to, which comes out of a different fund. But, so there was a little bit in there. And I didn't take any out of the other fund.
And this might be a good idea to have a training on this for our elected officials. On just like the training fund,
Yeah.
you know, and how to budget that into our budgets. So, and then, like I said, I have 10 books that just went out, so do we have any movement on?
My opinion on your renovation, I'm good with it, but it's gotta stay in your area. You gotta reorganize or something. We can't be taking another office.
Well, we're not
Okay.
technically, that was a split area. It was a split area from the time that Lisa and all of them were over there. And that's it, which I showed Mike, but you guys didn't come up and let me explain to you.
I told you I'd come up and Rick explained to me what you had.
The
You
half,
was gone when I come up.
the half, only taking half of it,
Half of where the
of that
file
area.
cabinets and
Yeah,
between that wall and the file.
yeah, like to bump the wall that's up against my desk,
Mhm.
just to push it to the opening where Mary goes in for her file cabinet.
I'd say take the wall out and put it right where the wall's at. Then you got a foot on your side and a foot on Mary's side and
Is there,
the wall
would there
back
be
there.
backs to the shelves, like, is it? Them shelves that you were looking at getting, that like closed off in the back of them,
Are they open?
No, they're closed,
they're closed?
yeah.
So, yeah, I wonder if we took that wall out and just put them.
And just use it for the wall.
I don't like it doesn't, however we configure it is fine. I just would like to have half of that space so that I could put books over there. Configuring it,
Instead of building the wall, take
whatever
that
is
wall out and
easiest
just,
for everybody is fine. I just would need some of that space to put shelves in.
yeah, I think. Take that wall out and put the shelves right there somehow. I mean, that's,
Yeah, Rick, yeah, and look at it.
Yeah, I can look at it. My only worry about that is I would have to get up in here and see what kind of brace we have. Because if she's gonna extend that wall a little bit to the south, I wanna make sure there's plenty of braces so that floor doesn't,
mhm,
we don't want the floor to start bowing.
mhm,
Without, I don't know what's up there for sure. And it'd be right there by that post.
mhm.
Well, give us a
Add on.
rundown next meeting if you would. And we'll try to start moving forward.
But I'm just worried about the weight, because those
Yeah,
books are heavy.
yeah. Yeah, cause if that short wall's, well, if it's right here somewhere.
Yeah,
then-
that's located in that area somewhere. I've not measured it out, but. But we surely don't want a bunch of weight on all that open space.
Right,
Can we move forward as long as it's safe?
structurally sound.
So. Yeah, I can get that measured out and go from there. Make sure that we do that support for the ground.
You'll have that for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are you saying moving forward, man? You want to know where the shelves are?
No, I was just, because this is my third time coming. I was just wondering if we could.
Just
okay
pending
it
on Rick's.
Pending on Rick's
decision.
decision.
Next meeting.
Yeah,
Next meeting. Okay.
take it. Countywide time clock, I think we had a discussion about that.
Yeah, I thought Jim was gonna talk to Stanley and get a price to really table, I guess. I'd still like to see it happen, but
Yeah,
Ongoing discussion.
yeah,
yeah, cause we don't have, I thought at first Stanley said it wasn't gonna cost us, but now it sounds like each department's gonna cost us.
mm,
Am I right, Stanley?
yeah.
Yeah, until Jim comes up with that, can't do much. I'd like to still see it happen.
Yeah, right.
And I'd still like to, I'm curious if we can implement like a countywide PO system and this all in one package. I mean, I feel like there's gotta be a software company out there that does this kind of thing for counties and so forth. They can provide the whole gauntlet of what we might need.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's something you can look into, Stan?
No, that's not me there.
No?
No. PO system's gonna be more tied in with our current financial system. I don't know how that. would
I can
work
call
with-
Lau and ask them if they
yeah.
have a PO system.
They probably do.
I will.
Okay.
I will call them because they're right by over.
Okay.
Stan, you're up now.
Dropped off the quotes for cameras. I did speak with Rich Security and came to the decision that we're needing to get 4 security cameras. 2 are for the annex building here, 1 for the downstairs entrance, 1 for the upstairs entrance, interior on both. He wanted to get 1 security camera for a small claims office in the courthouse, which currently does not have any surveillance there. And we needed to get a newer model camera for the main entrance, the main public entrance at the courthouse. Because pulling any footage off of that is almost worthless.
Your total cost is the 2824.
Correct.
And that's putting them in, or you'll put them in?
I'd be putting them in.
And that'll be one out here,
Yes.
kind of in the hallway where we was talking.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we move forward with it, and take it out of King Cap.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I've also dropped off some paperwork for other vendors to do social media archiving. We've got 2 different ones here today, Page Freezer and Smarsh. The total amount that you see there on Smarsh looks higher because they quoted that out for a 3-year contract. They can adjust that to different lengths. They say that typically if you go 3-year or higher, you get a better price break from.
Yeah, that's a lot cheaper than the one.
Yeah, and I passed Justin the paperwork, so he's probably quite familiar with how social media still counts as.
What is that?
Sorry.
We talking about where something got on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a public record. So anything on those, we are responsible for reporting.
So this 5345, that's 3-year.
Correct.
What was the original company that we talked to? Wasn't their cost quite a bit higher than that?
9,000 something, yeah, that was
Yeah.
That was
Civic
just
Plus.
1 year. wasn't
That
it?
was for the first year,
Right.
yeah.
Do you think it's comparable? We're getting,
I think Smarsh is miles ahead, the best option out of them. They can also do SMS archiving for any county lines. For any county cell phones that we pay for, because those again count as public record. That's not listed in there, but
I was gonna say how much more would the phone be?
I would have to ask about that.
you want to wait to make a decision?
I think so. Is there a contract for these guys that Justin can look into?
No, just what I've sent
Presented.
over.
Okay.
Civic, thank you.
I'd like favor for that, me to check in, see how much more the phone.
Yeah, I'd second that.
Besides that, they did bring up a good point when I was speaking with them. We do not need to archive our YouTube social medias as long as we disable the comments. Because with the comments disabled, the videos themselves are immutable records. And there wouldn't be anything for us to be archiving besides that. As it is, we have comments turned on our videos, but there's no interaction from the county side on them. So it's my recommendation that you just make it default that any YouTube videos that the county puts out have comments disabled, and that would remove our liability and any cost requirements for archiving YouTube videos. If you're okay with having comments disabled on those videos.
Yeah, I really don't.
The majority of them don't have any comments at all. It's usually a one-off or
So we
something.
got the Facebook page, so that would, comments are gonna be there. I don't think that we need them on YouTube, I mean.
No.
The, yeah, and you can get,
Facebook page.
if you want interaction for those meetings, people are welcome to get the Zoom link and join in there.
Right.
There's one other thing I was going to. Yeah, the pricing for those two is, one of them is quoted for 10 Facebook accounts, one of them is quoted for 12. I don't have an exact number of the amount of Facebook accounts that the county has. I emailed the department heads early last week to get a list of all of the pages. Not all of the departments that have them have replied to me yet, so I'm still waiting on an exact count so that we can get it.
We'll try to bring that with the next meeting also.
Yeah. As long as I can hear back from everyone.
Right.
We had a motion and a second to table the social media archives. So all those in favor? Aye.
And I don't know if you want to make a motion on making it so that the YouTube comments
I'll
are
make that
stable.
motion.
Got a motion by Don, is there a second?
Second.
We have a second, all those in favor? Aye.
Did
Thank
we
you.
approve the
Thanks,
cameras?
Yes, yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it.
And we got Tori up. Almost over.
Okay, so I brought packets. Sorry. So we've had 2 meetings with Text My Gov at this point. I filled mine in. Kind of to the point now where we need approval, and then I'm gonna go in front of the council tonight. Just recapping, it's 6,500 a year. The first year, they said 7,000, because there's a $500, like, I don't know if it's startup or what. I'm gonna try to negotiate that down, because on the first meeting, they said no startup, and then on the second one that you were on, they said they would get it down to 500. So I'm going to try to see if we can get that down to 0. This is, after looking into quite a few different programs, this one is what I recommend for what I feel like we need here. We don't think we need anything massive, anything too crazy, just something simple. I don't want an app. I don't want it linked to anything else. I want it to where people can just sign up for it and then receive the text and it's done. I don't like it.
People sign up for it, no cost to them.
Right. So North Judson's already utilizing this, and I know I've been signed up for their messages for a little over a year now. There's a QR code you can scan, they'll give us like a little text number that if people could text, which is how I did it, text it, read to it, and then I just receive their text. I don't have to do anything. I do recommend turning off the reporting system on it. It is set up to where we can of our residents, like if they see a tree down or something, they can text that number and it'll send it to an email, which would be myself or Kenny Fost would get it. I feel like that's stepping on dispatch those a little bit.
Right.
I think it's just putting one more person in lineup that doesn't need to be in the lineup for that. So they said we can turn that off. We can turn it on at any point. It's got geofencing, which is, but I think it's gonna make it more useful. So if we just need to put out a message, let's say just for Knox City, we can geofence it and only people in that area would receive it instead of the whole county, or we can do the whole county. Kenny and I have both agreed to get certified for iPaws, which is the other side of that system. And I don't know if this will make much sense to you, but this is just the process that we would go through. It's a FEMA certification. So iPaws is like what we were discussing, kind of like the Amber Alerts. Very limited to what you can send out on those because they do reach everybody that's peeing in Starke County. So it's not your non-emergent text that would go out that way. It is like we're talking, we've got a disaster here type deal. So you don't probably hopefully never have to use that. I know in my almost 3 years, I've only seen a need for it once, but it is smart to have it. And the iPads is no extra cost, and the classes is no extra cost. It's basically Kenny and I will get online and go through the FEMA Academy, and it's about, I say 2 to 4 hours, I think, on that.
And say I sign up for this, that I wanna receive. Isn't it like if I get it in the Warsaw, they have it, I automatically get their warnings too?
No, I believe you would only get Starke County because I know like even with signing up for like North Judson, I only receive Judson texts. So it'd just be what we put out. So you won't be opening the door for anywhere you're at. That's the difference between like a Amber Alert type system and this. Which, as we know, with Amber Alerts, you can shut those off on your personal phone. So if somebody did not want to receive that, they can shut it off on their phone, and it's not gonna matter if we have this system in place or not, then they wouldn't receive it, but that's on their end to do that on their phone.
So say if we went with this, if we decide in the year we don't like it, can we cancel it?
Mhm.
Is it, we're not held to this?
I believe you'll have a year contract with them. Look through partnership agreement, it kind of touches that a little bit more.
Well, I think down here it says 3-year agreement.
If we want to do something with the first year, I
Yeah.
think we just need to maybe like talk to them, and he will be available on Zoom tonight at the council meeting, the Jacob guy that we talked to on this. But yeah, here it breaks it down a little bit more on your second page.
Yeah, I know the systems where like you can text and say tree down. With that, is that a one and done shut off? And the only reason I ask is, let's say we had a bad storm. Is
We
it
can-
something you can turn on and then turn off?
Yeah, we can
Well, that'd
turn
be
it off.
kind of nice.
So it'll have like, on our end, it's all web-based, so when whoever has the login logs into it, all the controls are right there,
Right
or
there.
you can just call the company and ask them.
To turn it on or turn it off. I was just thinking like if we had a really bad storm or something, it might be nice to be able to turn on, tree down just for a window or something. So that, dispatch isn't dealing with them in a
feel-
phone call.
In the event of a big disaster and we are seeing dispatch being overloaded,
It'd be a good,
it is a tool to utilize. I think we need to be careful with turning it on and off, but if dispatch is overloaded, it's just another tool to help
overflow.
our community still be able, to contact someone.
I like it, but I would like to see it 1 year at least on the
Like a
first
trial
year.
year,
Yeah,
maybe?
we end up, or a bunch of people calling from the community, not liking it.
Mhm. So I did check the success rate for North Judson. It does have a high success rate, and they do have pretty high numbers of people that are signed up on it. I don't have the numbers sitting in front of me right now, but they gave me like the area that they cover and then population versus sign up, people that are signed up for it. And I was pretty impressed with how many people did it. They will also help us advertise it. So they'll give us QR codes and like flyers and stuff, and then they'll work with IT to get it onto our county website. So this way it's always on there. We can post it on like the EMA Facebook page and pin it to the top. This way, because not everybody's gonna sign up for it immediately,
And you can put your notices like you do on the Facebook page, you can send them out,
Yes.
like, the
Yes,
tornado
so
warnings, and
that-
I know that's been one of the big things people have been asking.
Yeah,
about.
that's the text my gov portion of this. They're called non-emerging messages. So our travel advisories are our big weather updates. I don't know that I would go into quite how detailed we get on Facebook, but like the main point of what's coming, if it's something big. Like when we had the hailstorm over the summer, I think it was last summer. That would have been nice to be able to reach out to people because it happened like this and we had
Yeah.
the fair going at the time. We can use it for stuff like that, burn bans. This way people are a little more aware.
Is there any other companies that we should be looking into?
So I've looked into a few over the years. My personal opinion is this meets our needs best because I just don't feel like we need this big fancy, super expensive system. I don't see anything that we would need that they're not offering. And I don't really feel like they're offering anything that we can't utilize. And it was by far the best price of all the ones I looked into, so there's that too.
By how much?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah, they get pretty expensive. The bigger the system, the more they do. They tend to cost quite a bit more, but I don't really feel like we need like a big massive system. I think simple is better. I think if somebody can just grab their phone and scan that QR code or text that number, and now they're getting all of our messages and they don't ever have to do anything with it again, is probably the best way to go. I know I delete apps on my phone because I haven't used it in a while, I forget what it is, and now all of a sudden I need it, and then you gotta re-register and all this, you don't have that problem. It's right to your text message and you're done.
Can you upgrade this one if we decide? Or is this where it's at?
So from my understanding, this is where it's at. This packet, you'll see basically everything that it's capable of. And what they're willing to do.
If we switch companies down the road, can whomever we switch to take this information automatically, or would everybody have to sign up again?
I'm pretty sure you would have to register for the new system. However, that system works, so they don't all work the same. So they're not all texting services, if they're. A lot of times you need an app, and that was my biggest thing where I started cutting out companies. I didn't like the app thing. I feel like another app on your phone, like, I know my parents, they don't like 100 apps on their phone and having to remember, oh, looks like we're getting a storm, let's go check this app.
Right.
I'm notorious for it too. So I just felt this was the best, most simple way to get our point across on whatever we're trying to send out there for our people.
I'd make a motion to move forward with the $6,500 a year. Hopefully you can negotiate the first 500 down.
Yeah, and I'll, like I said, he's gonna be a part of the council meeting tonight. After we see what happens at the council meeting, I will get with them and I'll keep you guys updated on where we're at with that $500.
Second.
We had a motion and a second, all those in favor, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got Rachel up. We got 10 minutes.
You might have to start with caller first, so you can.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
He's been here a while.
Yeah.
Patiently waiting.
Sorry, Eric. Oh, you're good.
What?
Oh.
Sorry, Rachel.
Yeah.
So, of course, last year we had a year contract with Starke County for our diesel fuel. Do not want to do a contract with the unleaded because it wavers too much. I believe with the diesel, there was only 1.5 loads that he had a problem for. Is that right?
I got the usages here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was only 2 months where you guys couldn't hold the whole load. So the first paper I gave you guys, obviously Country Mark offers 2 different ways to contract fuel, where we can either lock in monthly loads. Now I have virtual storage in place where it's basically a imaginary 100,000 gallon tank. And all that does is help me lock in fuel for bigger customers. So if you look on the left-hand side of that, there's all your prices per month, what the lock-in would be for this year per load. And then the bottom price at the bottom would be your virtual storage price. So it's gonna cost you a penny to penny and a half extra on some of those front months. And it's gonna save you a little bit towards the end of the 12-month contract. But looking at last year, our contract base price range was 269 to 279. Most of it was in that 270 range. That's on this other paper here. So obviously prices are cheaper right now. We're gonna save roughly 30 to 35 cents a gallon if we locked in anything today, but everyone knows fuel market's very volatile, so could go up, could go down, but this is a way to, you know, kind of lock in. That way you guys know what your budget is on fuel. I will say this though, right now you guys have about 16,000 gallons on hand, and that's an 18,000 gallon storage tank. So really you probably have fuel to get you through May, probably some of June. So there's a couple different ways we can look at this to lock things in. I just wanted to present both options to you guys.
Do we not use any off-road fuel?
It's all on road because you guys only pay one tax for on road, so
Not worth keeping it.
I mean, it's definitely an option. We could set an off-road tank there, but as long as I've been at Starke County Co-op, they've just ran on road and everything. You guys pay a 59-cent state tax. That would obviously not be there for off-road, so.
We get the tax reimbursed anyways.
Oh.
There's a paperwork process that we have to go through with the state, but it does come back in a tax refund.
Okay.
It goes back into the account.
So, yeah, there's that answer.
I don't know if that'd be good out there. I think
Well,
I'll end up in-
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's not really benefiting.
If you're getting it back and.
Yeah.
Takes a couple months to get back.
Do you apply for that?
Yes.
You take care of it?
We don't take care of it at the garage. There's a company, Malcon, that takes care of it.
Okay.
That was put in place. I think Malcon was hired in 2023, was before he went out there, but you can go back like 3 years, so they're still working on even past refunds.
Okay.
So, yeah, so like I said, I kind of just jotted down some of these numbers that you guys needed to look at. Roughly used about 72,000 gallons for the year last year. Like I said, used about a load a month. 7,500 gallons is a load of diesel, a transport load. There was only a couple months there that you didn't hold quite all of it, and Rachel and I have worked together on jockeying up fuel around. I can find a home for it, so it's nice about being flexible on that end. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to lock in some of it, lock in all of it, but.
So when you shift it around or not, it didn't cost us.
No, there is normally a 30-cent penalty for that, and I do have that contract in front of me if you guys needed to look at those. But
I worked it out.
we worked it out. I didn't charge any penalty just to try to keep the relationship there and keep the fuel local. So, and that is in the fine print there if you guys needed to see that. But I waived all the penalties last year. We didn't charge it.
Since we got fuel that kind of amount on hand, would we want to start this like in May
I
or
would say
something?
May.
Yeah,
that's what
I would say, and also I forgot to mention, we can either do a regular lock-in contract or what they call a flex. So if you do a flex contract and flex it between May and June or June and July, you have to take the higher of those numbers. So there was a couple months where she didn't take it all. If we flexed it out, it would cost, these numbers are very close, but it would cost you a little extra up front. But like I said, I'm pretty easy to work with, and I found a home for it. So, but I know we had some breakdowns last year during paving season and stuff. So that number might always change, but with an 18,000 gallon storage tank, if we didn't start it till May or June, I can normally make 7,500 gallons a month work. So.
If April, just go on down there. If we start in May, we'll still get 1 year.
I can give you prices, after, I only did 12 months. I can give you prices after that. If you wanted to do 12 months, if you wanted to do 6 months, that's your guys' call. I don't know what, I mean, and that we can reassess in 6 months, so. But if you like those prices, I can go out 17 months right now. I just don't have those numbers jotted down, but they're. Obviously from February to March, that's the biggest jump there. There's about a 6 cent jump and then it drops back off. So if you guys only wanted to do till February and reassess, but like I said,
One, it's definitely good prices.
compared to last year, yeah, we got, 30 cents cheaper on that kind of fuel. You're talking 25 grand in savings compared to what you guys had last year. So.
I want more than got added and stuff in it.
Yeah, I will, on that contract, there is a 2 cent upcharge when we switch to winter blend, so those prices,
2 cents.
it'll be 2 cents higher in the winter time. And that is in the contract.
I make a motion, we go with a 1 year contract and put it then starting in May.
Starting in May.
I'd second that.
We had a
Starting in
motion,
May.
we had a motion and second, all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Eric.
Eric.
Yep. Appreciate it, guys. Lock this in for you. Have those.
All right. So let's do the air compressor next. In your folders, you're gonna see 3 different quotes for used air compressor, new air compressor from a couple different companies. Our current air compressor is a 1985. It's hard to find parts for when something breaks because a lot of the parts are obsolete. It needs new motor mounts. The motor mounts are one thing that we're having trouble finding as far as parts because they're obsolete. The pulleys are worn out, so it likes to throw the belts a lot. The radiator shows signs of wear. It does not like to start most days. And the ejection pump has to come off because the girdle shaft is leaking. So, this air compressor is just a menace because every time we take it out, we're spending an hour or more fixing it on the road and then our productivity level goes down.
Cause you use this to what, clean the bridges off and.
Yeah, we clean the bridges off and then when they do crack sealing, they have to blow cracks out, or they
I
seal the
mean, it's
cracks.
kinda.
Oh, yeah, in the summertime, we use it for like several months.
Yeah.
Every day. I don't want a new air compressor. I'd rather just have this 2019 one for 17,750.
How much is a new Caterpillar? It's used one 17,000, but I don't see a price for it as a new one.
Say if we're on 26, but no, she didn't include that in the. I said it was like $10,000 more.
Probably more in line with these other.
This is the new one here.
What?
This is the new one.
Yeah, that's the new one, and then I think the Bobcat is a new one too.
Yeah. Next, it's a 185 CFM.
I'm gonna guarantee.
You mean like warranty?
Yeah.
I don't know how to find out.
Do you know who builds the Bobcat? I mean, what engines in it? Has it got a Kubota in it or
It's not a Kubota, somebody Cat.
it's got a Cat
I
engine?
wanna say Bobcat took over Cat McAllister.
Bobcat took over McAllister?
She brought him with me, she knows. One company took, Bobcat took over. The air compressor, not for everything, Cat, but as far as air compressors.
Oh, right here. It's got a Doosan D18. So it's got a Korean.
There you go.
17, you.
Yeah, that's.
For a little bit more, we could get it brand new with the warranty.
Okay.
I'd like to see how much the Caterpillar would cost new. Just because Caterpillar makes Caterpillar.
Yeah.
So bring back,
Ones that offer the used one, you think?
Yeah, because that's a Caterpillar, but
Yeah,
it's just used.
Okay.
I'd be curious to know what the new version of that new would be.
yeah,
so you want a brand new price on the Caterpillar and then also if this one has a warranty or not.
yeah.
Okay, now,
How long?
current-
They got me.
okay, the current air compressor, the auction probably won't happen before, so we don't have to. I want to put the current air compressor in the auction,
Yeah.
but, I need to know if I'm gonna be able to get another one.
Make sure you get the lead time on that new Cat too.
Okay, for the Bobcat.
Yeah, both of them.
Okay. I'll bring those back. What else we got? Paving operations, the map's almost done. So WTH made a layer. WTH GIS is our current GIS company, made a layer for the 2025 paving operations. That's almost done, so that will be put on the Stark County Government website. People can just click it and it will bring up the map with everything colored, coordinated as far as what's getting paved and what's getting wedges. And then once we do come up with a chip seal plan, that can be added on that layer as well. And it is gonna be public, so there's different layers on GIS. You can make them public or you don't have to make them public. It will be made public. Doing Birmingham on 50 South right now. I don't know if any of you have seen that. That's going really well. Also, I wanted to just mention that we had Terex inspect the bucket truck. Is their recommendation that we start looking for another bucket truck. I have their letter in there and you can read over it later as far as why we need to look for a different bucket truck. But we have talked with Yankee Valley RMC. They're gonna be replacing some of their trucks this year. They have a larger truck with a 60-foot boom that they're gonna be replacing, and that's only gonna be around $20,000.
Well,
Yeah, so.
didn't that one time you say you had money in your budget for that?
Yeah, like we can, just like with the air compressor, LRS has money that as long as the council approves the allotment for it,
Right.
we can use, purchase this equipment. So hopefully around October, we're gonna keep in contact with Yankee Valley RMC about that particular one. And then we can get it inspected and purchase that one for 20,000
That's good.
rather than,
RMC too, they got the maintenance or.
Yeah.
Like Nibble, yeah.
we talked to Terex, about the REMC trucks, cause they do all their inspections and much more frequent than we do ours. We do ours once a year. They go through sometimes 60, 90-day inspections. And he said they're really nice trucks, even when they let them
Might
go.
have Kim even reach out to Nibble and ask them.
We have, just have not been able to,
Yes, respond.
Yeah.
That's fine. So that's a good deal. What you're saying.
yeah, hopefully we can get that one. Anything else?
I just like to mention, once we talked to Chris and them out there at Mammoth, that we consider keep them roads in mind too.
You mean for
So,
paving?
yes,
So, it hasn't, we're going to be accepted for that $1.2 million grant. They're just drawing up the grant paperwork. So we've kind of been approved, but they're drawing up the final paperwork that I'll have to have Justin look over and then have the board look over. So we will have that $1.2 million to put towards Mammoth operation,
Right.
that area of paving.
so they still gonna have another meeting where me and Mike and you'll be involved with it.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I
I
can
think
request
so,
that.
because like that culvert and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah, the call,
I
also.
want all that.
You'll need to decide whether or not Mammoth is going to be paying that $260,000 that
That's
they
why I
owe the
say I would
county.
like one more meeting with us, with them, before we agree to it.
Okay.
But anyhow, that's what I'm saying. So once we get these, we gotta figure out if we're gonna be able to, we gotta do some of them roads this year somehow.
Right, so, as a
Backside.
part of applying for the grant, I had to separate it in 3 different milestones
Okay.
because we can't do them all this year.
Right, I
But
understand
we're gonna
that.
do half and half, so we'll do
Okay.
milestone, I think I sent you guys a spreadsheet, but I can resend it. We'll do milestone 1 and 2 this year, and then milestone 3 next year.
That's all I got.
All right,
Thanks a lot.
so you guys aren't wearing green today?
One is,
You got the vendor claim and stuff?
Yes. You got a pitch too, Kai.
Well, we started at that show now on St. Patty's Day weekend. After COVID, they just restarted. And now I can.
You remember it is.
I think we were always Darwin International Race Course.
All right, we got the payroll claims. $346,030.87. Is there a motion to approve?
Second,
And a motion and a second, all those in favor, aye.
I,
A motion to approve the vendor claims in the amount of $436,647.83.
Motion to approve.
We have motion and second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Suzanne, you have any paperwork for people that on the BZA?
Yeah, I think they're.
Yeah, I think it's in
Was it?
here.
I got it, sorry.
That'd be three, two, three.
My question on that, I know I had somebody turn in a letter, but I think it was for planning commission. That she was wanting to be appointed to.
Get these minutes real quick.
Yeah.
Minutes, is there a motion to approve the minutes from March 3rd, 2025?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes, the joint council commissioner minutes from March 12th, 2025?
Motion to approve.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye. Yeah. That's
Then we got the BZA appointment. And commission appointment. And
got our application process.
well,
We haven't got that done yet.
what's that one you got, Mary? That letter?
Yeah,
Okay.
so she's a Democrat,
Uh-huh.
so she'd be an excellent person on the planning commission.
That's what
Short
we
few
need.
Democrat
Yeah,
positions
yeah, we need
on there.
one. Or is it one or two? We need one, two. Oh,
Two
okay.
on planning,
Two on
two on BZA.
All right.
Democrats.
No,
Just planning.
on
Right.
planning, two Democrats. On BZA, we need a citizen appointment by the commissioners that's not on the planning commission. And we need a council appointment too,
Or
on the BZA,
BZA,
Party doesn't matter for these.
right.
right?
How about address? Doesn't that come into play here?
The BZA or planning.
I know the one lady, she would fit the requirements. She's outside of city limits and
The Nina?
yes.
I'll make a motion, we appoint Nina to the planning commission.
Is there a second?
I said hi to her. Does anybody in here know this gal?
I do.
I mean, it's, I mean.
I guess I'd almost like to just talk to her. I mean, without anybody here really about, I know we've kind of done that before.
'Cause I don't personally know her.
You say, no, you don't
I
personally
do
know her
not
either?
know. I might want to see her, but
You're right. I got the opportunity just to say hi real quick, but
Yeah,
I,
she was at the last planning meeting, but that's.
yeah,
Her kids, they're in marching band with my son and then, her daughter does track with my son too.
I mean, I don't think this is urgent. I mean, can we wait till the next one and then maybe I can reach out to her and just see who she is?
Yeah, if you, I mean, if that's what you want, that's fine.
on the BZA, man, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
good
that's
with it.
fine.
Yeah, because she's got our number here, so it makes it
Yeah,
easy to.
talk to her and see what
reach
you
out.
think.
On the BZA, is that holding up any meetings or does that got to be appointed today?
If anybody misses, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we only have 3 members.
We already had to
Quorum is
cancel.
3. And we've had to cancel 1 already.
Yeah, I don't really wanna hold that up too much. So you had a couple of hearings or something, I think, on there that last.
We had to cancel last time, yeah, and this time I think Sabina said we've got 4 or 5 for
Yeah,
April,
well-
so that's.
No, there'll be 3 for April. 1's gonna carry over.
So our next meeting's the 1st of April.
Or maybe before the
It'd be
BZA
before that,
meeting, yeah.
so we'd be okay.
So if we just
The
wait.
reason I asked Justin, I know there's a contractor wanting on one of the local boards. He's a local contractor that builds around here.
Mhm.
Would he be eligible or would he not be? He does live in the county.
Well, I mean, it depends on the nature of what he's doing and if one of his, I mean, it would definitely be a conflict if somebody's applying for a variance on a project that he's
But
on.
on that, he would just have to step out, right, not vote on that, or would it be a conflict through the whole board?
No, I mean,
We had a contractor before on that board,
Right,
and if something came up that he was involved in, he would
he
abstain.
just have to.
consider like Jason works for NIPSCO. I mean, they could be working on a project. He just
Oh,
had,
yeah,
he would have had to
that's true.
recuse himself.
Mhm.
It's project specific, if he,
Right.
I mean, it's already a legal influence, of BZA members'
Right.
decision, but you just have to be very careful with his conflict.
On the BZA,
He or
I'd
her.
like to, I'd like to, table that. I do have a person that's been wanting on all these local boards. And I'd like to at least offer to tell him there's still 2 openings.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
So if it's a table, it goes on the table.
Yeah. I
Second.
don't think it's gonna hold anybody up.
Not if it's gonna be before the
Not
next.
as long as,
BZA.
as long as we go for the second week of April.
If not, you better hope for 3.
So we have no motion in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
You got anything else, John?
I don't.
Mike, you got anything?
That's right.
Justin? You got
You
anything?
got just enough time, though.
Andy, you got
He's
anything?
trying to get us out of here now.
Exactly.
Anything, Kelly?
So I did contact, Lau, and they do have a PO system that we can implement, and they are sending me information, via email, and I will send it to you 3 gentlemen.
That'd be great.
If you present it next meeting, yeah. I just prefer having it in my box.
Okay.
If you would print a copy and put it in my box, let me know or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll get my box before the next meeting.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. Yep.
Second, all those in favor, right?
Blood flowing here.
And we will force you to do it.
That's right, holding you, so you don't apply. Yeah.
I like that rule, though. The president's gonna have to.
Oh.
If it goes beyond.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Then it starts.
I have to start doing cell phone tonight.
Just stay, please.
You guys-
We'll see you. Take our remote.
I know.